Yo, my boy Boruto looking amazing with the sword play. Yo, this dude on a whole nother level. We got my boy Koji in here looking like that, so Raven. Like, we got a lot of great stuff in this chapter that we got to talk about. Hey, man, get this to 100 likes, and I will be doing a live stream talking about the chapter, man. Let's get it.
This world shall know pain.
What's up, y'all? We back at it with another chapter, Boruto Chapter 28. And this chapter straight goated. We about to get into it, but I gotta let you guys know, I got a new shirt for the thumbnail. Like, if you want to cop it, go ahead and cop it. But enough of that shit, man. Do you? Let's talk about this chapter, yo. I don't know if it's just me, but Inojin or Inoji, however you want to say his name, I'm kind of rocking with the dude. I think he's pretty cool now. It's crazy because he was one of my most hated characters in all of Boruto. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, this dude is trash. But now I kind of rock with him, man. I think he might be the best person on his squad, man. Especially with his new jutsu. And not only that, I see a lot of people in my spoiler video putting in the comments that they think that's Mamushi instead of Boruto. And some of the actions he did do would lead me to believe that that's Momoshiki. But at the same time, I don't think so. And I'm going to get to it as we go through the chapter. But hey, I just want to let you guys know, I read your comments, man. I may not respond, but I read them all. And class rep, yo, I want to know what she did to that katana. But let's get into it, man. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell. So right off the bat, we got this amazing color page. I won't say it's my favorite one, but I think it's definitely top 5, top 10. We got, what, 28 of them right now? I would say it's in the top 10, top 5. Let me know where y'all rate this one. But I like the fact that you got the class rep standing here, and she's holding, the new sword that she made for Boruto. And I ain't gonna lie, the new sword look dope as hell, man. You can see, I'm gonna put on the screen where you can see his old sword, and you can see how his new sword look. And I just like how different it does. It looked like a real, like, you see that sword, you're like, yo, whoever owned that, they own some shit. And then I like how in her background, it kind of got like the blossom of the, the cherry blossom rose petals, falling down while she's standing there. I think it's a pretty dope color page, if you ask me. But we're going to get into the chapter. So it starts off with Inoji. He's doing his new jutsu. He's mastering it. And you got it where, Koji is saying like, yo, you almost got it complete. And of course, Boruto walks up and says like, yo, I'm impressed that you were able to make this yours in a single day. And I just like how Inoji, he looks back at him like, hey, look, Boruto, let's get some shit straight. Like, and then like, he kind of like, if you look at the page, he kind of like put his shoulders up. Like he said it with his chest. I'm proud of the boy, yo. You know what I'm saying? His dad is Sai. I wasn't expecting much from him, but he poked up his chest and he looks at him like, hey, look, man, I'm only here for the leaf. And Hima, like, yo, don't get shit twisted, man. If I catch you alone after this mission, I'm fucking you up. Like, yo, that's how he came up. And I was like, yo, I rock with the boy. I rock with him. But he was like, yo, I haven't forgave you for your betrayal, and I won't accept you for a teammate as well. And then, I ain't gonna lie, this right here kind of felt like Boruto was on demon time. He was like, hey, look, man, I haven't accepted you either. You know what I'm saying? Remember, if you ever make Hima cry even once, one time the fuck up, man. He says, yo, I'll shave that ridiculous haircut to your bald. Now, his haircut is just like his father. And I thought his father's haircut side was trash as well. So, hey, look, honestly, a bald head might do him justice. So if I was him, I wouldn't even be mad if he shaved my head bald. But a lot of people may look at this and think that that's Momoshiki. Because of what he said, but it's more so like Boruto saying like, I haven't accepted you as a person that can date my sister, because he says he's in love with her. He wants to protect her at all costs. So that's what Boruto more so means when he says I haven't accepted you. And if you look at it, like the word accept is in bold print compared to everything else in that bubble. But then you have it where Boruto teleports away. You have it where Inoji is like, yo, why would he say that, man? Like, what's going on? He's the one who completely messed up the Uzumaki family. Of course, Koji doesn't say much. He just looks at him. And then it jumps to the higher-ups as they're interrogating Konohamaru. And you have it where Mitsuki walks in. Konohamaru is free to go. I'm curious, what was it that your boy Shikamaru asked of him? They never really told us, unless it's what we get later on in the chapter. But I feel like that's not exactly it. But anyway, you have it where Mitsuki walks in. And then as he walks in, you have it with Sai. He knows the signs of when someone's communicating because his family, his son can do it and his wife can do it. So he knows the sign when someone's doing that mind transfer jutsu to talk to one another. So he already contacts the sensory lab or the sensory team, and he says like, yo, sensory unit, I need to know who Konohamaru was just talking to within the past few minutes. And they say his last login was last night. So he wasn't talking to anyone. And then you have it where Sai looks at Konohamaru as he walks off. And Konohamaru looks back at him like, yeah, bitch, catch me. I don't know why. I just thought I liked the way they glared at one another. That shit was dope as hell. But I imagine because of that, there's going to be a few people that Sai is going to try to interrogate. I imagine he's going to come to his wife and ask his wife anything. Now, granted, his wife isn't involved with anything that's going on right now, but she did help Shikamaru out at one point in time by doing some off the books type stuff. And she says she's not going to do it anymore. So I imagine she may tell Sai that and will make Sai think like, well, if it isn't my wife, who else could it be? But I know now that Shikamaru is involved in it, and then he might investigate Shikamaru even more, and then he may even question his son. I don't know if he would question his son, but I imagine, you know what I'm saying, this will help. This is the path he may go down. But anyway, as that happens, you have it where Mitsuki sits down. You got it right off the bat where this interrogator says like, oh, you're the child of the famous Orochimaru. That right there already told me what type of time this dude was on. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. I'm saying to myself, please, Mitsuki, do some Gojo type stuff. Wipe them all out. The only person you got to wipe out is this guy, who I don't think is really a fighter. I don't think he has any jutsu at his disposal. And Sai, who ain't that strong. I don't think Sai can beat Mitsuki. Let me know in the comment section below if you think Sai would stand a chance against Mitsuki. At best, he can escape. But I don't think he can mess with Mitsuki. Just let me know if y'all feel like he can. I guarantee, well, it's probably gonna be someone who'll be like, well, if you look at Sai and Naruto chapter such and such, you know, he did this technique right here, and this technique can easily take down anything that Mitsuki could do. Someone's gonna say that in the comment section. And to that person,
a bullshit.
well, shit, man. If it makes sense, I might be on your side. But anyway, it jumps from that and it goes to Boruto as he's pulling out his sword from his sheath. And you got it where he's holding the sword. You got it where the class rep is saying like, yo, the blade material is still the same, just treat it. And she says, you know, it's shaped for maximum strength and cutting ability. And you got it where Boruto's holding it. And then she says like, yo, the guard is unchanged. Well, Boruto says that. And he says, but the rest of it has been completely remade. So I know that Boruto, you know, told her to make these changes, but he didn't know exactly how it would look. More so Koji knew. So for Boruto, it looks different. And I wonder how Boruto truly feel about it, because this was a keepsake from Sasuke. But, you know what I'm saying, he did want it done so that he could be, you know, more capable of taking down his foes. But I feel like Boruto himself, just by this panel alone, he may feel a type of way like, damn, you know what I'm saying, it's not the blade that my master gave me type of scenario. You know what I mean. But anyway, you got it where she goes to say that's not all. You know, the blade is now set to automatically maintain, you know what I'm saying, his jutsu. All he has to do is just do the jutsu once, and then it will be maintained. And then you have it where Boruto actually does the jutsu. You see the lightning going around his blade, and then he says, yo, I could feel a small amount of my chakra. She said, don't worry. It allows the Hagoromo to continue running without having to spare any focus on it. And that seems amazing, because you got to think, in all the battles that Boruto had, he's been focusing on his blade as well as like teleporting to certain spots to catch his opponents off guard. He's been doing a lot. So now with this blade, he'll have more time to focus on other stuff. It might even make him faster as far as using his teleportation jutsu. So yo, this is a good help right here. She says, without you having to spare any focus on it, so long as your chakra doesn't run out. He says, I see, nice. But she says, be careful, because if someone chakra who isn't registered to the blade was to touch it, their chakra would run and drain out quickly. Now, me, I'll be tossing that sword at everybody. Here, catch. You know what I'm saying? I'll be tossing that shit to everybody. That'll be my first battle strategy. But imagine how that would work against someone like Jorah, because remember, Jorah picked up the blade that Boruto had and said, oh, this is a heirloom to your master. You're still reaching out for it. Remember, he held it. Had Boruto had that ability back then, it would have significantly drained Jorah. Now, we don't know if his chakra source can run out or if he get weakened, if some of it's drained, we don't really know. I imagine he could be drained, but I'm not 100% sure. You guys can let me know your thoughts on that down below. But anyway, you got it where she says it's a safety feature just in case a foe tries to steal it. She says, you and your master Sasuke chakra has already been registered, as well as mine, as I continue to work on it. And then you have it where Boruto says, oh, a built-in scientific ninja tool, fail-safe. Nice. And she says one more thing. A certain special material has been compounded into the katana. Now, we don't know what that is. I'm very curious what that special material could be and what that special material can actually do. Like, what are the properties of that material? And where is it at? Like, will we see it in a future battle? I'm just really curious. I hope this isn't one of those things that they mention and then we never really get any answers to it. So hopefully we'll find out. I mean, usually with the Boruto series, everything is connected in some way. There's other series where they mention stuff and then you'll never see it again. You're just like, what the fuck? What? So with Boruto, I imagine we'll find out what's in that blade. But let me know your thoughts and theories on that special material that she says has been infused with the blade. Let me know in the comment section below. But anyway, it jumps to Shikamaru as he talks to Shikadai, and he's pretty much telling him his plan. And, you know, he's saying like, yo, we're going to have to work with Boruto. And Shikadai, he looks upset. He's like, yo, what's with this Boruto being an ally? He's a criminal who murdered the Lord Seventh. When did you forgive him, Dad? I can't believe it. How can you call yourself a Hokage?
What you say, bitch?
I imagine those words right there probably hurt Shikamaru so bad because he's seen Naruto as a brother. Just think about all the stuff they've been through in the regular Naruto series. He probably sees him as a brother, and to have his son say something like that, someone he cares and love for, say some hurtful words like that, I imagine Shikamaru probably wanted to pop his son, but he kept it cool. He kept it cool. That's where you see Shikamaru difference from most parents. And I love that someone in the comment section of the spoiler video said that Shikamaru is the new version of Danzo. I like that. He does feel like Danzo in a sense that he does shady stuff behind the scenes, but the way he does it isn't as dark as Danzo. So I do like the comparison though. I like that. But anyway, you have it where he says like, yo, I swore to myself when I accepted this position that I would be unbending in my convictions, no matter the circumstances. It's like Naruto, Lord Seventh. And that's what I'm still doing. I'm not compromising or giving into the pressure at all. He says, I'm sticking to my beliefs and making necessary decisions in order to protect the leaf. Boruto assistance is absolutely essential to fighting the divine trees. If you can't accept it, that's fine. You don't need to be part of the op. I'm not going to order you to be. However, in that case, you cannot mention what I told you to anyone. I'll leave you to make your own choice. And of course, Shikadai says, I'd rather you order me. And he says like, yo, Hima's signing up for the operation, right? And he says, she's just like Sarada in terms of wanting to help Boruto. She stupidly even became a shinobi for that purpose. So the only reason that Hima became a shinobi was to be able to help Boruto. Even though Boruto took out her parents, supposedly, you know, in her mind, he took out her parents. She still became a shinobi in order to help Boruto. I really like that. I wonder if she really truly is aware of what's going on as far as like who took out her family member, but she's just choosing not to say so. I'm very curious if that's the case. I mean, if it is, that'll be a big shocker, like she was immune to an impotence as well. I'm very curious about that. But anyway, that's the reason she became a shinobi. And you have it where Shikadai goes to say, Chocho can't let Hima do this on her own. And Inojin and I feel the same. So I'm willing to put aside my personal feelings about Boruto and risk my life as a shinobi to carry out any order given by the Hokage. Okay, Shikadai, I love the words. Now I wonder when he says we can't let her do this on her own, I wonder if maybe Shikadai may have a little crush on Hima as well. And it might be like two friends loving the same person. I wonder if that's the case. But anyway, you have it where it jumps back to Koji and, Inojin, and they're having a conversation. He says, but if you know what's going to happen, why can't you give us more details? Why are you giving us only bits and pieces of intel? And then your boy Koji goes to say, well, to give an example, would you have still squared off against Jura and rescued Hima if you knew you were going to die? You know what I'm saying? If you had known that, you might have hesitated, frozen in fear, or due to indecision. And as a result, had you not died in that moment, would that power of Hima had awakened? Oh man, yo, he makes great sense. Like, yo, you would hesitate. It's no different than if you think of Avengers Endgame. Remember, Tony was asking, you know what I'm saying? I was about to call him the Dark Magician, but Tony asked Doctor Strange, like, yo, is this the path that you've seen, the future that you've seen? And he was like, yo, if I tell you it is, if I tell you what happened, it won't happen.
Tell me this is it. If I tell you what happens, it won't happen.
So I imagine he seen paths where he told the truth and it didn't happen. And it's the same scenario that's going on with your boy, you know what I'm saying, Koji. If he tells him, it'll change it. Because what I'm getting at is that the moment I tell someone the future I saw, it changes it to some degree. He says, the more I dare the approaching future, the better it is if fewer people know about it. That since something relayed in good faith could lead to things progressing in the wrong direction, the consequences and actions of we singularities who know snippets of the future at times greatly sway developments, sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse. The more singularities there are, the more the future branches into complex ways, making it even harder to predict, thus nullifying the pretense of the future completely. Damn. That's crazy. It makes a lot of sense, though. It definitely makes sense. One must be continually cautious about what and how much to tell who in order to ensure things towards the ideal future. And then you got it where Inoji's listening. He says, I never know if my choice was correct or not until I see the outcome. I relay what I thought was vital. I can only entrust Shikamaru and Boruto to decide how to battle the enemy before us. And then, you know, next thing you know, they show a panel of a path that he's seen where Ada's been, you know what I'm saying, absorbed in a tree. It looks as if she's done for. And then you got it where Hima's on the ground, blood's coming out of her mouth. Inoji's holding her and he's crying. Now, in this scenario, I wonder why it's two different ways. Like, it seems as if, you know what I'm saying, Ada's been absorbed by the divine tree. She must have got bitten by the bug Senju. And then when you look at Hima, she's got blood coming out of her mouth, which leads me to believe maybe Jorah never even got to Hima in this future. Maybe it was that she died to the Shinju, a bug, while trying to protect Ada. I wonder if that's the case, because otherwise, wouldn't she be in a tree just like Ada if your boy Jorah was to get to her? I mean, I don't know. I'm just putting that out there. You guys can let me know how y'all feel about that. But anyway, you got it where Koji starts talking back in present day. He says, but I think you'll agree that we ought to at least change any future where Ada and Hima die. And he looks at, you know, Inoji and says, don't you think? Next thing you know, you see a communication being broadcast amongst all the people working with Shikamaru. You have it where he says, can you hear me? This is Shikamaru. Just so you know, this is an unofficial off-the-record transmission. Thus, only those of you hearing my voice, you know what I'm saying, are members of this current operation. And as you can see, it seems as if you got Chocho, you got Hima, Daemon, you got Ada, Sarada, Shikadai, Konohamaru, Mitsuki, Delta, who else we got? Kawaki, Class Rep, Boruto, and even, dang, I haven't said his name, Amado. I haven't said his name in so long, I forgot all about him. But yeah, Amado. And then you have it where he says there are two main criteria in this mission. He says, first, that you aren't hostile towards Boruto in regard to your upcoming battle. Makes sense. He says the Leaf still sees Boruto as a foe to be captured and killed. And then you got it where he says, I anticipate attempts on hindering him from doing this operation. He says, while staying alert for the enemy, each of you will support Boruto within the village too. He says, second, regarding this transmission, he says this line is only made possible by Inoji's new jutsu. And so this is part of the new jutsu right here. And then you have it where you see the little energy popping up on the ground as he's using this jutsu. You also got a frog that's showing everything that's going on to Shikamaru, that's going on between Koji and Inoji. And you got it where he says, our foe is the divine tree, Mamushi. He says, a monster who can divide into multiple cells. Furthermore, he apparently can erase his chakra signature, so we won't catch him using the village chakra detection net. Makes sense. That's where the new jutsu of Inoji's comes into play. You have it where Inoji says, so the feature where we can converse over long distance is identical to the regular mind transmission jutsu. What's different is that each person connected to this line can be turned into a receiver and used to sense the vibrations of objects in their vicinity. And then you got it where Class Rep says vibrations. Next thing you know, it jumps to Shikamaru saying, every object emits vibrations with its own unique wave frequency. So we intend to identify Mamoshi's wave frequency and use it to pinpoint where they are and capture them. Then you have it where he says, don't dwell on it. Inoji and I will suss out the number of locations of the enemy and relay it to you. That's it. And just know there's a limit to how many people can be linked via mind transmission formation. That's the other factor that drove your selection for this operation. And then you got it where Shikadai's listening to his father saying, damn, Inoji, when did you master a jutsu like that? Now, when you think of this jutsu, it's pretty much like a detection jutsu as well as being able to communicate with your allies. I mean, it's pretty dope, but I wonder if it's something where Inoji has to be stationary in order for it to work. Because right now, Inoji is talking and you see that he's not moving around. Like he's just sitting there focusing on the jutsu. So it might be something where he's stationary and he's, you know what I'm saying, he's vulnerable for attack. And that might be why Koji is around and protect him if someone was to try to attack him or make it to their location. But it seems that way. Then you got it where Shikamaru is about to explain Mamushi's abilities. You got it where he explains it to them and says how they will deal with it in this mission. Next thing you know, you have it where your boy Mamushi appears within the village. And it seems like, Inoji was able to pick up on it right away. And this guy just walks up on two random guys and say, hey, bro, do you know where I can find a woman named Ada? Like, yo, come on. The way he just walks up so casually, it's got to be that he's a little dumb because he split himself apart. Because who would do that? But anyway, you have it where that happens. Inoji quickly tells Lord Eighth, like, yo, it's him. He's already in the village. And then, of course, Shikamaru says, yeah, I see that. Relax, Inoji. Focus on your jutsu, which means he does have to focus on it. He says the enemy is in area 36 of Sector C. You have it where Koji says, Boruto, the keyhole is the closest symbol. Of course, Boruto says, got it. You transport there and you see that it's a frog within the village holding a different symbol for Boruto to lock onto. I wonder how many frogs Koji has around the village that Boruto can use to teleport, holding different symbols and keys. But anyway, as that goes on, you have it where Boruto takes flight, looking like Neo in the Matrix. Shit look dope as hell. And then you got it where, of course, your boy Shikamaru is saying, damn, they're several days earlier than they forecast. And then Koji says, I told you, fate has already started shifting. And then you got it where Inoji is witnessing what, Koji's told him earlier firsthand. And then you got it where they show Kawaki saying, bastards, just you wait. And then they jump to Ada. She's saying, totally gross. I feel like puking because she sees what the dude look like. I mean, but she's seen him already, so why would she want to puke? And then you got it where Daemon says, don't worry. I won't let him even touch you. Now, if she died in the path in the future that your boy Koji seen earlier, it really makes me wonder, like, yo, where was Daemon when this happened? Unless he split himself so far and Daemon was just like distracted with the different numbers that he wasn't able to watch over his sister. He wasn't necessarily defeated, but he wasn't able to protect his sister. I wonder if a scenario went down like that. Like what happened for Daemon to fail? I'm very curious about that. But anyway, you got it where, Sarada, she's like, yo, I'm going to head out. Of course, Shikamaru says, like, nah, wait, given the nature of his abilities, we can expect he'll split himself and spread all throughout over a wide range. He says, like, yo, Team 10, go to Sector D East. Team 7, stand by in Sector B North. And he's pretty much telling them where to be. He also goes to ask Mitsuki what's his status. And Mitsuki says, like, yo, I doubt I'll be released anytime soon. Shall I forcibly break out? That means Mitsuki was like, yo, give me the word, Hokage. I kill this dude and get out of here. Like, I love that Mitsuki was on demon time. He wanted to get shit done. But, of course, Shikamaru says, like, negative, don't want to rashly provoke them. Damn, I'm like, yo, I wanted to see that happen. He says like, yo, wait for an opening. If you take advantage of the chaos, then I'll try to come up with something. And then Mitsuki says, Roger. Damn, man, I wanted Mitsuki to be like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to help him. He says, listen, Mamushi's target is Ada, so keep yourselves ready to move to Sector A East at a moment's notice. Boruto will travel to each spot using his flying Raijin, and Kawaki, you provide support as needed. Then you have it where it jumps back to the men saying like, oh, Miss Ada's location, we'll love to know too. Who's this freak? So meaning these guys are already smitten by her. They must have seen her once or twice and been in love with her ever since. And then you got it where another one of the clones or copies speak like, hey, brother, you know, feel free to kill them, but don't destroy the buildings. I don't want to get yelled at by Jorah. So it seems as if Jorah don't mind if they take out certain people. You know, he just don't want the leaf itself destroyed. And, you know, the fact that he's saying this means that he somewhat fears Jorah. He knows Jorah's that guy, and he doesn't want to do anything to piss him off. And then you got it where the two random strangers, they look up and say, it's the same geezer. He says, if you don't know, we're done. Sorry to have bothered you. And it seems as if this copy of Mamushi is walking off. He's not finishing them off like the other one said. So I wonder if their personalities vary. I thought they were one and the same. But the fact that he told him feel free to kill him, but the other one's like, nah, ain't no need to kill him. And he's walking off. I'm very curious about that decision. Like, is one dumber than the other? It seems like the one up top was dumb, but at the same time, it feared Jorah. I'm very curious about that. But anyway, you got it where they say, hey, wait, what are you? Stupid. As soon as he would have said we're done, I would have went the opposite way. These guys want to engage in conversation. Hell nah. But anyway, you have it where Boruto pops up right behind this copy of Mamushi and slashes him straight through the eyes. Actually, if you look closely, Boruto managed to slash this guy 3 or 4 times because you see his head where his eyes are slashed and then where his mouth is slashed. So he did 3 slashes or 2 slashes in an instant. Yo, the boy sword play is on a whole nother level. Then you have it where he's falling to the ground. The other Mamushi is looking, and then Boruto looks at the guys and says like, yo, if you don't want to die, I suggest you get lost. And then you have it where they instantly realize who he is. They're like, yo, Boruto. Next thing you know, this Mamushi at the top starts making more copies of himself. 3 more to be exact. All 3 of them jump down to engage in battle with Boruto. Man, hey, look, man, this shit look crazy, yo. But anyway, you got it where they jump down to fight, and then you got these guys running off saying, why is Boruto here? Who knows? We need to alert the police force, which means more people may get involved in this battle, which will cause a hindrance to Boruto, similar to like Shikamaru was saying earlier. But anyway, you have where Boruto slashes through another one. He's slashing through these guys left and right, man. Hey, yo, this shit is crazy, man. And then you have it where they're still going in on Boruto. One of them manages to knock him into a wall, and then after that, another one begins to shoot some type of fire-style jutsu at Boruto. And you got it where one of them say, hey, stupid, what are you doing? You're setting the buildings on fire. And he instantly realized, oh, shit, man, I'm going to get in trouble by Jorah. That's crazy as hell that he says that. But anyway, you see the flames begin to disappear, and it looks as if Boruto absorbed it with his karma. And he says, like, yo, I just can't get used to it, this weird itching feeling when I absorb things. And then you got it where this is the chapter. The chapter ends on this high note. Now, I see a lot of people upset about this because they're saying like, yo, Boruto wouldn't use his karma seal so easily, so quick in the battle because he hasn't done it before. That's why people are thinking that this may be Momoshiki. And I would think it's Momoshiki as well, on the strength that Momoshiki always goes using full power. He doesn't really hold back from the battles we've seen him take place in. He usually goes all out from the very beginning. He doesn't engage his opponent and try to learn what his opponent is trying to do. He just tries to wipe him out as quick as possible. So I would think that is your boy Momoshiki, but then part of me doesn't believe it's Momoshiki on the strength that Boruto made the comment, I just can't get used to this weird itching feeling. I feel like Momoshiki would have been used to it by now. I mean, maybe there's a chance because it's not his body absorbing it, it's the body of Boruto that he may say that, but I feel like it's something he would have mentioned earlier. I don't know. But then again, Boruto never mentioned it earlier. I don't know who to believe this is. I want to say it's Boruto. I'm gonna just say Boruto for right now, And it might be a surprise. Maybe Momoshiki is in control. I mean, he has seemed a bit aggressive over the past few chapters, but maybe that's just because of what's going on. But you guys can let me know y'all thoughts down below. How do y'all feel about this chapter? And if you like this video, thumb it up. Please subscribe. Hit the bell for all notifications. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Make sure y'all cop a shirt. Make sure y'all subscribe. All that good stuff, man. Let's get it. Peace.